Hi. Something came in today. I know my hair's a mess. My hair's just really dried out. Midnight's out there checking out the box. So I'm going to show you what I got. Unfortunately, I can't set it on my bed. I am charging my girlfriend's laptop and the portable DVD player over here on my bed. But I'm going to show you what's in the box. Good night, Midnight. Okay, now this is the 400 watt wind generator that I purchased. Now this will not produce 400 watts. Um, if you go by what the listing stated, I'm sorry, this is really cold. If you go by what the listing stated, this should put out no more than 240 watts. And that's at the maximum amounts of amps that it says it can produce. Now, do I see something this size producing 400 watts? Absolutely not. I figure this one generator will put out probably 3 on a good day, up to 6 on a great day, and probably somewhere around 48 watts. That's 3 amps up to 6 amps on a good to great day, and then around 48 watts. And this is a 12 volt, and it is very small, as you can see. This is a 3-phase motor. Now, when you're hooking these up, they say it really doesn't matter how you hook these up. But what I want to do is I want to try to make sure that the wires coming out of here match up with the wires going into here. So, you know, even if it doesn't, a 3-phase motor with this type of controller should work. Now, the black and the red wires on the charger controller or go to the battery, they are positive and negative. Um, Unfortunately, this does not have how many current amps it's rated for. Checked. It goes from 5 to 40 amps. And it says it's a 12 and 24 automatic PWM charger controller. Standby current amps 3.6 milliamps. Let me get my hand out of the way. This is a very small unit, but it does weigh quite a bit. As you can tell, it is pretty small. It is pretty heavy though, and you can see that. Now, this wind turbine here, I did order a, oh hell, now I can't think of the name of it. The piece that goes on here, that it bolts to, that goes on the pipe. Now I can't think of the name of it. I apologize. I will probably put that in the listing of the description for this. Also, one more thing. If you're going to use a wind turbine of any sorts, it's always best to have some type of dump load. Now, to get off on the cheap side, much cheaper than buying a large dump load and a bunch of resistors or whatever, for this I will be using a DC 12 volt hot water heater element just inside of a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket full of water, that will, if there's too much excess power or too much power, it'll dump it in that hot water heater element. Now, I did buy this strictly for one thing, and that is maintaining my batteries and, if possible, topping them off. That's it. I did not buy this to try to produce a lot of power. If you are going to buy solar and wind, let's see if I can get it where you can see that. Always make sure you have another way to have power. Is any type of backup. Have another way to charge your batteries if you're going off grid. That can be anything. We're going strictly off grid here. Now, the thing is, right here I am on grid, which means I could charge my batteries using the power that comes through the wall outlets, and I do have a automotive battery charger that I can just plug in. That if I needed to, I could just clamp onto my batteries, and that will help charge them. Now, if you're off grid, that's a different scenario. Well, let me put this down. This is really cold. Oh, flange. Sorry about that. The piece that I bought to go underneath there is a flange. Now, if you're off grid or want to go off grid, wind and solar is fine, except for certain times and situations. At night, solar doesn't work. If the wind's not blowing, this is not going to produce anything at all. So, you always have to have a backup system, some type of backup, via either a generator, an automotive, a car, where you can hook up a set of jumper cables up to your batteries and charge them that way. Some type of generator, gas powered, propane powered, with a 12 volt output to charge batteries. You always need some type of backup. Now, this just did come in. You saw me open the box. Um, it is really small, but it is pretty heavy. And the blades aren't that thick. They're not that big. Let me pull one of the blades. And the blades have all this styrofoam shit on it. That's not very big. So, you know, I don't know how well these are going to work. And it does look like maybe one of the blades may be a little warped. I believe that one's a little bit warped. But once again, and I got this white stuff all over me from the styrofoam. If you are planning, let me get the styrofoam off me. Maybe. It is just sticking to me all over the place. Yeah. It jumps from one hand to the next hand. Look at that. Now it's on my laptop. If you're wanting to get a one generator for extra power, that's fine. Just remember, most of these do not kick out a great deal of power. And when you are buying one, you really need to know two things: the volts and the amps. If you know the volts and the amps for the maximum output, you can find the watts very easily. You take the volts times the amps, and that'll give you your watts. Now, once again, I did buy this on eBay, and I already figured out the maximum amount of power that this will put out as far as watts, because they said 20 volts at not 20, excuse me, 12 volts at 20 amps, that's max, would be 240 watts. Now, I did see some on eBay and Amazon and other places where it said up to 3,000 watts. Don't believe it. So they had some of these windmills, wind generators, at 12 volt at 3,000 watts. That would be like 250 amps. That would be like greater than the service coming into a lot of people's homes. As long as you know the volts of the system and how many amps it can produce, more styrofoam, then you can find the watts that this will put out. Now remember, this is the maximum amount that it can put out. But I thought you'd like to see it. Now I'm going to end up putting it back in a box over here, tape a box back up, and put it in storage. And today would be a really good day to test this outside, because it is really windy. But unfortunately, I don't have the poles for this yet, or the flange to connect to the poles, so I can't test this outside. Once again, even if it only produces 3 amps and 48 watts, that will be enough to top off your batteries, maintain your batteries, like if it's cold out, and basically be, how should I put this, more comfort for you, as far as knowing that something at least will be going into your batteries if your solar's not working. But once again, no matter what you own, solar, wind turbine, always have some type of backup. Even if you have to have just a regular battery charger for automotive, a car battery charger, or a generator, your car with a set of jumper cables, anything to help keep your batteries up. Like I said, this is basically um, for us to use to keep our batteries topped off, especially if we're not around. During winter, if it gets really super cold and the wind is like blowing enough, this will help keep the batteries from freezing. I do have lead acid. Alright, I'll show it to you one more time. Oh, man. Like I said, it's not very big. I hope you can see that, the tag. Now, even though this says 400 watts, there's no way that's going to produce 400 watts. Now, it may produce 400 watts in a day if it's kicking out 48 watts or even 20 watts per hour. If it's constantly spinning, it may put out 400 watts in a 24-hour period. But do not buy one of these and expect it to put out that kind of watts in like an hour. It's not going to work. They don't work like that. Alright, that's it. I showed it to you. I'm fixing to put all this up. And if you're interested in a wind turbine, these are now around $120. I paid $99.99 for it, but they're around $116 to $120 now. Is it going to be worth it? Don't know. Is it worth it to you? Well, that's up to you. Like I said, I purchased this for a battery maintainer. That's it. I am not going to use this for trying to charge my batteries without other sources of power coming in. And as far as the dump load goes, and I can see people screaming all over the place, you have to have a dump load. I will be purchasing a 12 volt, because this is 12 volt, hot water heater element that I can use as a dump load in case my batteries get fully charged. It will kick the power that anything produces, this produces, into that dump load, and it won't try to overfill my batteries. Alright, that's it. I'm fixing to go. Everyone have a good day. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. And that's all. Bye.